And that was the start to the race, and guess where I am? That's me. Yeah, not the best start, but let's start at the beginning. Welcome to Matin Foil. We're on our way to Blaise. There's a wingfoil regatta, sort of long distance thing. I don't know too much about it yet, but there's gonna be wind. It's supposed to have a few competitors. Let's check it out. So I got there pretty early. I was there around 9. It was 7 degrees, but no one was there yet. Then I met Emery, the one who organized the event.
Je m'appelle Émeric, du coup moi j'ai une école de kite ici, de kite et de wing, à Blaise ici, où on sort vraiment là autour. Et puis là j'ai monté un petit événement pour faire la traversée du lac de Blaise à Cudrefin en face, en wing.
And a little later, people started to show up, preparing their gear. Actually, I went out to see how the conditions were, and they were pretty strong. I would say between 25 and maybe 35 knots in the gusts. So I decided to take my 3.5 square meter wing and not my 5, because I was really overpowered with the 5, and with the 3.5, it was still very good. It was very interesting to see the gear of the other guys, and it was impressive how small their front wings were, and it seemed as they were taking it pretty seriously. So I should have brought my starting watch, and I realized as it was getting warmer that my 7mm wetsuit was overkill. My setup was a rigid Gong Cruzader 6'3". It's the first time I've used it in wind, but that was not the problem. My front wing was the Ypra L 1000 square centimeters. For me, pretty small wing, but compared to the others, still a big wing. And the stab is a Veloce 44, 210 square centimeters. It seemed like a fast setup for me. So what was I doing here while the race had already started? Well, first, the wind dropped significantly, and I didn't have time to go back and get my bigger wing, the 5, because there was no number at anyways. So I was concerned about turning on the camera and actually reaching the starting line, because there was not that much wind and I had to go away from the starting line to get up on foil. I didn't want to tack because sometimes I still fall on the tack and there was not that much wind, so I went away from the starting line, I jibed, and then went up to the starting line. And of course, during that time, or by that time, the other ones were already over half the lake, so that wasn't the best start. So my start was actually 3 minutes later than the other ones. But hey, what you gonna do? So I just enjoyed myself and tried to go as fast as possible, and I even reached a few competitors when suddenly I breached, as you can see here, and had my first fall. That can happen, I thought, as I was really trying to push and didn't worry too much. So what do you do if you fall? Yes, you get back up and you continue and try to catch the guy that you just lost again. And again, it went pretty well, and I started to push, and then suddenly something happened that happened 6 times in total. I lost control of the board, and it never happened to me. Now, turns out there are different explanations, but the baseline is that the aluminum mast that I have really stinks. I asked a few others in the forum, and they say it's kind of similar to a spin out where you catch air on the mast and you just lose control. So this happened once, it happened again. Here I was able just to stop and keep on going, but then it happened again. And a little later, again. And I got kind of frustrated because I know I'm not the best winger, but when I'm cruising along, I feel like I'm pretty decent. But here I felt like an amateur. Then we came closer to the mark to go for the jibe, and the wind started to drop. There was basically not enough wind for me to keep on foiling, and I actually had to get down. And I couldn't even stand on my board. I lost balance and fell into the water. And I was really pissed. Eventually I went around the mark, but it took another couple of 100 meters to get out into the wind before I started foiling again. And then out in the wind, I fell, I think, twice again because of the same problem with the mast. So it didn't go as planned at all. I thought I'd cruise around like this as in the pre-start. But there actually was a race, and let me show it to you now.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Hi, I'm Doré and I'm wingfoiler that started wingfoiling about 2 years ago, and really last year I've really got me by the virus of wingfoiling, and now I'm training here on the Swiss lakes. I enjoyed it a lot, and today we had a nice race. So I actually dropped from the foil about 30 seconds before the start and had to basically catch up on the first leg. Fortunately, I was able just to pass the first two just before the mark, and then after the jibe I basically was trying to also play it a bit safe and finish second. So I was using a Gong double skin. It was a 5.5, and then I was riding a Chupanga foil. The foil size is 530 or 540, so it's relatively small. And about a 65 liter wingboard. 10-second average was, I think, 26 or 25 knots.
So after the prize giving ceremony, I went out with the inflatable Cruzader of Raf. You might remember him from another video. And I tried it out, and I'm gonna compare the inflatable Cruzader to the rigid Cruzader to the solid one in another video. So if you want to see that comparison of these two boards, subscribe, and if you enjoyed that content, leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions. See you in the next one.